Okay, let's go through these games real quick. This is your guys' match versus Excel Esports. Go to Infernal Shrines here. Oops. See if I can get the quality a little bit better on this. There we go. So I worked with Pi a little bit. He actually did a pretty good job preparing drafts for stuff. And I think Infernal Shrines is definitely a good pick for a map for you guys. Like I said, you guys played macro, I think, pretty much perfectly in terms of like camps and rotations and stuff this game. And I think you guys are just going to be pretty effective with the comps that you guys play and stuff like that in terms of winning the objectives and catching people by surprise on Punisher jumps and stuff like that, that I think you guys will have a lot of success on this map. The Kael'thas ban I'm okay with. I know you wanted to leave Diablo and Garrosh up, and you also were considering Jaina, but then they banned Jaina, which gives you Maev, so this works perfectly fine. So Diablo and Orphea, both of them are going to be going into you. Blaze works pretty well into that. Stukov is a little bit unsafe, but you want it for the Maev cage combo stuff. But Blaze is pretty good. You know, if Diablo's charging in and Orphea's coming in trying to chomp people, that you can get in bunker and stun them and just be a good frontline kind of wall to kind of block them out. The Lucio ban, they also could potentially be going for some kind of blow up. For example, Zeratul is still open, and you can go, you know, VP, APOC plus Crushing Jaws and Chomps and stuff like that is a pretty good, powerful blow up or whatever. But you guys are also going for a blow up, and I think you know that they don't play Zeratul at all. And in that case, if you're going for a blow up and you think your blow is going to be better and more effective than theirs, which it probably will be because you have Maev and Stukov so far, is that you basically just want to eliminate ways that they could live through the blow up and win the team fight in a sustained fashion that way. And so Lucio is probably the main like burst AoE heal defense support right now with Sound Barrier. So you also should consider Alexstrasza here, but I think Pi is 2 steps ahead of me because Alexstrasza gets shut down pretty hard by Maev if you're not going cage, and you can go disc in that case, but you're also knowing that they've already picked Diablo and that they don't play Garrosh, or not Garrosh, Anubarak, and so that you can get Anubarak so that if they go Alexstrasza, you just cocoon the Alexstrasza. So this draft was good. The Ana makes sense for them, pairs well with the Orphea. The Zul'jin doesn't make sense, but they played weird stuff, and their hero pools were kind of awkward. So yeah, you wanted to have a Jaina here, and actually Orphea is a good Jaina substitute that they also took away from you. So you were kind of struggling with potentially what to go as Junkrat here for your guys' team in terms of like blow up with the Maev cage. And I think I ended up pretty much agreeing as Junkrat being the best choice, actually. You want a little bit more wave clear and poke with the Maev. And then you want the AoE burst. I think Thrall could have potentially been an option as well, but then you're playing Thrall Maev into as your 2 DPS into their team, and especially into Orphea and Diablo. That seems really risky because they want to be on top of you anyway, so being melee heroes into them seems a little bit weak. So I liked the Junkrat pick for sure. Then they go Leoric, because they're trying to do Entomb, APOC, Jaws, or Feast, and then Guillotine as their blow up with Ana Nano Boost. And so In fights, also, Ana is good at breaking cocoons, and so I think you either want to nano boost, or not nano boost, cocoon her when you're doing the fight. She also will have pretty good burst healing after level 16, and she can cleanse the stuns and slows and stuff that you guys might be doing at level 13. So I think if you can get to her as you're starting the fight, cocooning her makes sense. Ideally before she can nano boost somebody else. And then they don't really have a good way of breaking people out of cocoon. But otherwise, if she does get a nano boost off, I think you probably want to nano boost whoever her nano boost target is, which I think is more likely going to be Orphea. But it could be Zul'jin, and I do think you guys ended up using it on Zul'jin mostly. But I think Zul'jin is actually one of your main kill targets. So you also could potentially consider using it on maybe Diablo. I probably wouldn't ever use it on Leoric, but that would be like the kind of thought process I go through in terms of who I'm cocooning. I'll actually slow this down now and rewatch this a little bit. Yep, see he went charge heals. I think he definitely should have gone the spell shield on Diablo this game, but it's fine. You guys step up, looking to clear the wave. Maiev gets pulled. Good blaze stun. Good burrow. You guys kill Leoric. Get the globe. Head down. You're walking through the midline here, in comparison to the other time where some people, one or two of you, walked around the side. I was actually really surprised that Orphea was already down here. But yeah, you guys can definitely control this rotation. I think Anubarak can even be with Maiev here. You might be looking for cooldowns. I think Stukov probably doesn't need to clear the wave. You can just leave that to Junkrat. And then even Junkrat can do that from this bush area. Just like Q and auto attack the wave here. And that way he's a lot closer to look for like a mine or a root follow-up. And Stukov is, over here also and can look to silence somebody off this pull. So I think you guys could have maybe potentially gotten a pull here. Could have maybe even had Maiev come around and like shade behind the Orphea and then get a pull on her that way and try and pull her like this way with a Nubarak following up or something. Because the Orphea was chunked and out pretty far originally, but you just got to tether off and then kind of backed off, which is fine. Yep, heading back mid. And so you guys are entirely ahead on this rotation, right? You guys still had like 3 or 4 minions down there that they're still clearing right now, and they haven't even begun to be mounted up and moving back up yet. You guys kind of went around, like through the mid all the way to this bush basically, and then a Nubarak came around in order to like stall off this rotation here. I think it would have been more effective for you guys to kind of like come through bottom and then like jut around towards their siege camp and then get control of that bush. Because if you guys have control of that bush, there's like no possible way that they ever make it in time to get this experience. And then yeah, you just want to shove this in as fast as you can. And Stukov can be down there helping with that. Again, you want Junkrat to be the one clearing the waves. So you guys kind of gave up like the control of this, I guess. And then yeah, you can send one down to get the bot lane soak, which in this case is probably Maiev, and then have a Nubarak sit mid. About right where you are is actually pretty perfect. I don't think you need to move over across, but you're probably just scouting for the Maiev here. But yeah, I like just sitting here. It gives you vision of them trying to come in and invade here. It gives you vision of them coming to invade here. And then if Maiev is pushing the wave, which you should be faster on, then the wave will show them so that they have no way of like coming through this bush and then coming in through here or in through here that you wouldn't be able to see. And Maiev can even just stand back, sit like right here after she pushes the wave, and then see if they're going to be coming in through here that you guys could then back off in one of the 2 directions or whatever and have good peel in every way to get out so that there's no way that you get invaded on this basically. So here you can make the choice of either pushing with the camp or invading their camp. And it kind of depends on how well you think you can fight on the point, or how well you could siege and how well they can anti-siege. They don't have good wave clear. Their main wave clear in the 4-man is Orphea, and her main wave clear is Chomp. She can E a wave and Q, and it does like half their health and damage. But Chomp is like the main ability that she needs in order to clear waves, and so she has to step up to the wave to be able to clear it. And that also means she's most likely going to have to respond to one of these waves, because you have them both pushing right now. Both bot and mid are pushing in. And so she can't be at both sides. So I think I would actually try and split her down the middle and invade on this bush and in this camp again. And pretty much you're almost like feigning the invade, where you're not actually looking to get the camp. You can give them the camp. All you want to do is make them waste time, basically, in potentially fighting you and either not letting Orphea clear the wave, basically. And then one of these waves is going to push in, and you can get an advantage from that. So I don't think you guys needed to be here and clear this. I think you could have maybe sent Junkrat up here in this bush, kind of, while the rest of you looked to invade on that bush, on their camp. But this is fine. This is still like perfectly safe. You guys are ahead on rotations. So I see 3 of them mid, and I don't see Orphea. And you do get vision on this camp, so you know that they're not doing it. So now you guys can make a couple of choices here. You can either just sit here and try and fight them over the camp. You can just start the camp yourself. You could start bottom camp. In this situation, I would most likely probably want to start bottom camp. I'm trying to think here a little bit. Actually, it might kind of be better to hold the bottom camp because of where the objective is. That it's making me kind of second guess this. Basically, like, you should be able to get something here. What it is isn't exactly as important. Okay, so you do see Orphea. I think I don't like getting the bottom camp here. I think that seems risky, because they're going to want to be rotating down onto you anyway, and then that just gives them a good excuse to rotate on top of you when you're on the camp, basically. I think you could do one of two things. You two, this being Junkrat and Stukov, could either bait and, with like your body language in the lane, play up sort of to the bottom side and try and zone Orphea from checking the camp, and feigning that you have Maiev and Anubarak on it, that they went like down around behind you and onto the camp, and they're doing it. And then use that to be like, Orphea says they're on the camp, she calls for them to rotate mid, and then they have like Ana walking first on her mount, and Diablo is slow, lagging behind or whatever, because he was still clearing the wave. He wanted a globe or something, or to get souls. And then Ana face checks this bush, and you kill Ana, right? That would be one play you could do. Or you could kind of do the opposite, where you two feign as if you're starting the camp, and then you have Anubarak and Maiev rotate out of here over to here. But I like keeping control of this bush. But there's like a couple different options you have here, basically, of like, you can play around vision and play around having the waves controlled, and they also need to check their own camp as well. So if you guys play off vision, for example, and you guys just like loop, like you clear that last wave, you loop around mid and then just like sit in this bush, then Orphea's or somebody is going to want to check that you're not taking their camp, and Orphea might rotate up this way, and then you could get a kill on Orphea, for example. So there's like a couple different options you have here. It's kind of like, it's not really that there's one that's necessarily the more like textbook theory, like correct thing to do. I would say it's more so like you just kind of have to guess your opponents, kind of like, it's kind of like mind games of just like, what do you expect that their habits are that they might not expect, or that they might like respond to in the wrong way or get caught off guard by you doing stuff like that. That like that's just kind of the way I'm thinking in most of these early games. I definitely do not like Anubarak being sat mid and Maiev still being in this bush alone. I think if Maiev is still going to be trying to control this bush, that you probably would need Anubarak to still be with her, but then of course you're missing mid soak, which is why you don't want to do this. So I think Maiev probably has to back off here, and in that case I think Maiev should be in this upper bush, in this lane, and probably scouting for the invade on this camp. If you guys were going to do this camp, I think the time to have made the call to do this would have been probably the wave earlier. If you saw them all three sitting mid, and they still had a wave to clear. Like now they don't need to sit mid, right? Because they don't have a wave that's immediately crashing into the towers so that they'll lose the experience that they need to clear. So you're kind of giving them like, you're putting yourselves in more danger on the time where they have like the one free area of time for them to be able to potentially respond to you. And yeah, so that's kind of awkward. But you guys do a pretty good camp defense here where you're pulling Anubarak down. He is going to miss a slight bit of experience, but you're also pulling Blaze down, so that's good. And then they actually they should have just like considered pushing you off the camp to be good, but they got greedy and like their tank is here. And this is not where you want the tank to be. You want the tank to be on the point right now. And guess what? Anubarak gets on the point. And you guys get some good CC and a silence on the point. So guess who's going to win this fight? Yeah, it turns out the ones who have their team in position and ready to fight over the point. So I think they actually ended up capping the camp even, but yeah, you guys just like cleared it, got 3 kills. This was great. Now, oh, also doing the camp at the speed you were doing doesn't really give you a good time to do your bruiser camp, which you usually want to do like one siege camp. They do their siege camp at like 1 minute, and then you clear waves for a couple more times. Maybe push with the siege camp or whatever. Do like a little bit of, like rotation control stuff on the waves, and then normally around like 2 minutes 25 seconds or so, you want to have people starting the bruiser camp. So maybe like 2:15 you would send people up, probably just 2 DPS, or not 2 DPS, one of the DPS and the healer, to probably go start the bruiser camp. That way it can be pushing during the objective and whatnot. Blaze has to go catch the wave. So yeah, obviously that went well, but I would say that was mostly because they got greedy on invading the camp and kind of weren't really positioned for you guys to turn around and like counter engage on them. That maybe a better team wouldn't have done that. I think a better team would have drafted a better comp that had better wave clear, that wasn't super reliant on Orphea W only, and that's a really fatal flaw of their comp. But then you guys wouldn't be able to have like controlled the waves as hard and stuff early game, and they probably would have gotten their camp at 1 minute and stuff like that. So like, I think you guys kind of like everything you did was good. It just could potentially be better, and you're kind of getting away with a bit more than you should, which is fine, because honestly, if teams are going to let you guys do this, you'll just win games for free, and it'll be really funny. So yeah, you guys got kills, so they're not set up on the point. Okay, so to start this off, you guys push the wave, which is good. You see Leoric mid, so you know that nobody's going to be coming from topside most likely. They're all going to be coming in from mid, which leaves pretty much this bush and like this bush and this little like corridor. So these 2 areas are like all you need to control. Until they push the wave, you don't need to control this bottom bush. So I think Anubarak should loop around here, which he does. And then Blaze can even come down. Like Blaze doesn't need to push the top wave in as much. That also helps of like why you would want the camp to be going in. I don't think Pi needs to control this bush either. Well, it's a little bit tricky now because the waves are dead, and so they could be coming around. I don't know. It feels like you guys aren't clearing enough. It feels like you're kind of just like walking around and trying to get position too much. So I see Diablo engaging, and I see an Ana. And I see no DPS. So at this point, I would just immediately turn on the Diablo, and you guys can probably pick him off. But you guys are playing pretty scared. I think it's kind of a result of you having Pi and the Blaze kind of like split of how you would want. Like you would want Blaze to be also pressuring up here, and then Maiev probably sat in the bush and mostly clearing the minions over here. You generally want to like pull the minions away from where they're going to be engaging. So now I see DPS, right? So we kind of missed an opportunity to chunk out the Diablo pretty hard, I think. And then, yeah, Leoric just kind of like walks in here anyway. And I can see the DPS coming around. So Orphea's going to do basically nothing to you over a wall, right? She can't chomp. And that's like a main chunk of their DPS. So at this point, I think you could just hard engage on the Leoric. I'm noticing he's also at like 60%, 65 maybe HP, and he tapped, sure, but this to me looks like Blaze Stun. Maiev resets as soon as somebody else walks in here, probably Diablo. I would look to use your trait to dodge a Diablo charge, most likely, and then put a Stukov Silence underneath him, start throwing Junkrat stuff on him, and then, you know, Anubarak Q and then E to probably chase him after he does his ghost stuff. And you guys could probably get a kill here because he's walking into the 5 of your team, and he shouldn't be able to do that. And so this is like kind of just how they are able to get themselves onto the point, is you guys are kind of like not looking to chunk their tanks when they're stepping up really aggressively, which I think you guys should be like more ready for. I think you're more in the mindset of waiting for the squishies to step up and get picks, but you're kind of just letting the tanks walk at you for free. And now you can see the ones that are actually ending up chunked here are like Blaze and Maiev a tiny bit. But yeah, you guys are like pretty fine to slow play this. I mean, you're ahead like 20 minions, right? So I think I would be pretty cool if you get chunked this hard. I'm pretty sure you already saw that Leoric used his tap. I'm pretty sure that was what the huge health gain there was. I don't think there's any way else for him to have had that health gain. Is that you're probably fine to just back off here, tap, and then re-engage, like same as you did on the bottom camp pretty much. I think you're kind of like trying to be too aggressive on re-engaging here. And like the time to do that would have been before they got, you know, all 5 people in the objective like area basically. But they already have control of that area now that you can't really you're not going to be able to pressure them off with like the health totals that you're at and whatnot. So they're going to get control of the area for a little bit. You guys have to wait for your tanks to get back. I think Blaze, if he had tap up, should have tapped and stayed instead of recalling, just because it's faster. And then you won't have this awkward stuff of like, you guys are going in 4v5 right now, and your other guy is like 10 or 15 seconds out from the fight here. So this is kind of over aggressive, especially this dive in. I think you guys should be looking to poke with Junkrat and Maiev mainly, and again, just making sure that they don't get too close to capping the objective. You do get a good tether here on the squishies, and I think this is Lurking Arm going down, yeah. And so you do get a good kill here with the Anubarak. Oh, you don't get a kill, yeah, and Anubarak gets chunked again. So this is like kind of awkward, right? Is like, you did this 2 tanks back off so that they're not chunked, and then Crafty gets super chunked and Pi gets super chunked. Well, the other tank is now coming in like full. So I don't know. It's like, imagine you probably got 2 kills there if Blaze is here, basically, that you guys could have just been more patient. Like, they're at 29. You guys still had another like 5 or 10 seconds before you needed to be this aggressive that you could have waited. You probably just could have pushed the wave, looked to have even gotten level 7, or maybe even pushed the top wave a little bit while waiting on that. So it works out. The Blaze also going in here when he comes in was also kind of good. That, like, I mean, it was good, but it was like, it would have been good when you had Anubarak to follow it up also. But at this point, you should just be looking for finishing off the objective. I kind of like looking for a kill here, but it's really risky. And unless you have the damage that you know that you can probably kill them straight up, which you don't in this case, that this is scary to me. And I don't actually see how Junkrat gets so chunked here. Oh, he gets flipped by the Diablo. Yeah, you just can't step up to Diablo in that case, really. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The re-engage is good, though. And this is where you get the kill. Yeah. I think you actually maybe get another one. And then here, Payev, or Pai is doing Payev. Oh my god. I'm recording this like 3 in the morning. Okay, this is not the time to be doing this. All right. Maiev is doing the correct thing here of just pushing with the Punisher. I think you guys got the kill. That's all you're looking for. You're so chunked. Like, playing this aggressive, Crafty is still so chunked. You don't have DPS here. That pretty much like the way the team comps work is like you have the tanks and healers, and tanks don't do enough damage, and healers are kind of overpowered in HOTS in general, so that as long as the healer is alive, the tanks should pretty much never kill anybody. There's a couple exceptions, like Anubarak late game with like the acid drenched mandibles and stuff actually does like a pretty decent chunk of damage and stuff like that. But you get my point. Is like you're 2 tanks and a healer against 2 tanks and a healer. Nobody should die in this situation. Like the healers should be able to out heal the damage, and then the 2 DPS on the team, like their role pretty much is to deal the extra amount of damage to the point where it becomes unhealable by the enemy healer, and then you get kills that way. So, yeah, this is just kind of like getting greedy, chasing kills. I don't know. I don't know how to like fix that, I guess, but hopefully just making you aware of that as like a habit. Especially once you win an objective, like you should be happy. You won the objective. That was the goal. Getting a kill in the process is a really good bonus cherry on top. You don't need like 5 cherries on the whipped cream already, right? You're overloading your toppings. I don't know. This metaphor is falling apart. It's okay. So yeah, you guys get the fort here. Maiev picks off the Orphea, I think, possibly with the Punisher jump. I couldn't see on the broadcast, but I'm gonna say Pai did a good job anyway. You guys don't really look for a pick here. Again, you don't really have damage. You just kind of have Maiev. This is one kind of awkward thing with your guys' team comp is Junkrat isn't really bursty before level 10, and he's soaking the other lane right now, which I think is fine. But yeah, you probably just don't want to like be aggressive in this case, and if you just have Maiev here, who's melee, she can't really siege very well. So at this point, I think I would actually just let the Punisher die. Like right here or whatever, I wouldn't be pushing up with it. After you get the fort, I would have Maiev, Stukov, and Anubarak just back off and probably take their siege camp. And then probably just control waves again, and then you can find a good time to take your siege camp also. But while they're stuck defending under the keep, you guys should be able to get theirs for free. Yeah, you should be... Like, this just kind of seems like a waste of time to me, that you don't really get anything from it. In fact, after, like, while they're dealing with baiting that under the keep and defending it, and you guys take this camp, then they're probably going to be defending and clearing the first camp, like their side camp that you take first. And then Orphea is their only wave clear. So, and she's not that fast at clearing the impalers and stuff. Then you guys can probably go take your camp during that same time. And then possibly while that one's pushing and they're defending that one, go take the bottom camp. I don't know if that'll be up soon enough, but like you can kind of think in that way of like, if you're always making them respond and they're always going to respond slower than you can be proactive, like you're just going to build an advantage and you'll just be able to take stuff for free. Because they'll be way too slow reacting to what you already did, which lets you take even more, kind of. But yeah, you guys are a full level up here to level 10. I think this is fine. I'm not sure that I like Anubarak being mid here, just because he's probably not going to be able to get soak, and the camp is going to push the wave in anyway, so the soak isn't really going to be there to get. It'll have to wait until they defend and push. And I think it would just be better for him to be controlling the bush over by their siege camp right now, scouting the rotation as an anchor, kind of, for this bot lane push that the three of you want to do and take these towers, and ideally the well, because the next objective is down here. And so, yeah, like, Stukov doesn't step up to the wall for a while here. Maev even goes up to kind of scout it. Like, you guys can be attacking the wall right now, pretty much. Like, it's going to target these minions. You don't need to be scared of a solo Orphea. If you know that they're not coming through here, or even you could have a Nubrek even be up maybe a tiny bit further. If he sees that, like, they're clearing the mid-wave or whatever, and then they're not going to come around this way. If he sees that they're just coming around that way, he could even just, like, use Q, stall the rotation or whatever, and then just burrow out. But yeah, like, Maev can be hitting structures. Stukov can be stepping up hitting structures. You guys kind of try and look for a kill on the Orphea, maybe. Zone her off a tiny bit. Now you're level 10. You guys do get the wall. I think while you're level 10, just take their siege. Okay, right now. You're most likely not going to be able to get the well. They're all positioned down here now. Leoric is down here, though. That's kind of awkward. You could potentially just go gank the Leoric with level 10s. That's another option. I don't like that it would be 4-on-5 invading this camp. So before I saw the Leoric come down, that kind of changes the plan here. I think Maev and Stukov don't need to walk through this way to get in this bush, just because potentially they could have somebody here, kind of where the mouse is, looking to scout you and seeing you go into this bush, pretty much. I think you could have gone around and started the camp, maybe, while you already have the people scouting here. This was a main thing that I really wanted you guys to do, is what way do they have of checking this bush? They have Ana Dart, and they have Zul'jin axes, and they have Diablo Flames. And all of them, you can pretty much see from range who it's going to be walking up. And then the solution to pretty much all of them is just walk backward. So you see Diablo step up, you see him stop moving, you see him start to do the like flame animation. All of you now just walk literally straight vertically, straight up. And all you have to do is just dodge these flames. And like they get close enough to you that it reveals Maev here and possibly a Nubarak also. You guys don't get dismounted, but I'm pretty sure it does see at least one of you, if not two of you, that were in this bush. And then yeah, Ana sleep darts it. But if he checks this and he sees the entire bush empty because you guys are just standing up here, and then Ana would still probably sleep dart it at that point, but there's a chance that they walk through, right? And then you get the pick that you were looking for. They're still checking it. They're so scared of you guys because you're level 10. Honestly, you could maybe invade their bruisers right now, even. With having the mid-4 already dead, pushing with the camp doesn't really make sense. The countdown hasn't started on this camp, but you should know it's probably soon. I want to say it's like 3 minutes or something after the previous Punisher dies. Like, there's a timer for it that you can track. And you can even just, like, type in chat to your team, like, Punisher, like, 4 minutes, 56 seconds, or whatever. Like, just pun 456, right? That's all you need, is, like, a shorthand code for it or whatever. And you just type that in to team when the Punisher dies, and then you'll, like, I should know it. I don't know it. So it's probably 3 minutes. It might be like 3 minutes and 10 seconds, so 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I don't remember exactly what it is. You should probably go in try mode or find a replay and check it and find out what it is. That's maybe homework. I don't really like to give homework. I'll probably do it myself and figure it out because I feel bad for not knowing it and I should know it. But anyway, the point is, you could technically have timed out when the objective will be coming up here. And in that case, you could time that getting this camp right now or starting it is fine because it's going to start doing the countdown soon enough after you take this. But yeah, I would say you guys kind of didn't pressure with your level 10 enough. Yes, there it goes. You just kind of get it right at 29. Solskito was standing on the point, so it looked like you guys weren't necessarily ready to be holding it potentially, and you hadn't really seen the countdown starting. But I do remember, I think, listening to the comms of when I first did this, that you guys had a rough idea that it was soon, and so that was kind of it. You should have Blaze pushing the mid wave here. I don't think you need all 5 of you to be pressuring the bot area. You still see Leoric top, and he has to respond to your camp. So I think Blaze could have pushed in the mid wave, and that would just give you a little bit better control of like this area and this top bush. Because right now Diablo cleared it, and he can get control over here and maybe get a stun on this altar or something. He actually walks all the way around because he's super scared still. A problem that their comp has of having no wave clear is they also have no good shrine clear. So aside from Leoric, like there's no real way that they're actually going to be able to ever race you on these minions pretty much. Like Leoric and Blaze are going to go even, and then Junkrat and Maiev are just going to completely destroy Orphea in terms of damage. So what happened on this fight, right? You have damage playing down here, Blaze playing down here, but Diablo wouldn't have come from mid and gone all the way around if his team was going to be coming in from topside, right? So Blaze is controlling topside against nobody, pretty much. You already have the trap in the bush also. So I think Blaze should be playing down here. And that way you would see that, like, because potentially they can be all 5 sat in this bush right now, and you guys have no idea. You have no vision of the wave. You have no vision of the bush. They can be all 5 in here. Like, Diablo's just looking to get positioning, and he's just going to wall stun Piemaker, and then they're going to entomb Piemaker, and sleep dart him, and guillotine axe all right in this area, and Piemaker's just going to die instantly or something, right? Like, you have no idea what could happen. Or he could be in this corner and stunning Solskito or Rabid Penguin. Like, you have no idea who is safe, who isn't, where they'll be engaging from. So Crafty Devil is in a good spot. I actually think either he and Blaze could even be interchangeable, like one in one bush, one in the other bush. It doesn't really matter. I like Blaze being in the bottom bush more because he's just going to have better shrine clear, and this is closer to the shrine, that he can still help with clearing minions while keeping the bush vision, and he can push the wave at the same time also. So I like Blaze being in this bottom bush more, whereas like if he wanted to help on shrine clear while controlling this bush and anchoring this bush, he would kind of have to like step in and out, and he couldn't really access the wave very easily. So, but yeah, you guys kind of just like let Leoric walk in here, which is awkward. And so now Pi actually steps down to try and control the bush, which is good. But he just kind of had to face check it, which is kind of awkward. He's controlling it here, but he does step out for a moment. Yeah, he like goes out during the time that Leoric is coming in. So face checking this was kind of sketchy by Pi here, but they're just really uncoordinated. So Leoric's just kind of like walking in trying to 1v5. So yeah, so a couple things here. You guys are way ahead in clear power in just your team comp and in the actual number, right? You're 31-0. There is absolutely no way that they ever outrace you on these minions. So all you have to do, like, you can play this slow and be perfectly fine. I think Blaze's positioning is kind of awkward here. I think you guys just ignore the Leoric, right? He's not going to solo kill anybody. He's going to do nothing. The 2 main people you need to worry about are Orphea. Well, I would say 3. Orphea, Ana, and Zul'jin, right? But mainly Orphea and Zul'jin. Those are where the damage is going to be coming from. And I see Orphea. Their Dreamcatcher is Diablo. I see Ana on the minimap. You probably see Zul'jin here, technically, too, that you could call out. But I don't know. I can't see from this video, but it's fine. And so, as like Blaze and Anubarak right now, you don't need to peel the Leoric, right? Rabid Penguin's not in really any danger. He can always mine under himself and like boop himself out if he has to, or whatever. Like, he's probably completely fine. He probably is not going to get solo killed by Leoric anyway. But I do see Orphea as like and Diablo as their DPS, right? So I want to be looking to position myself over here under the Leoric, kind of looking to like get a Blaze Stun on their engage. You have the Maiev here. You're going to have Solskito in range to silence underneath there. You can have Anub'arak burrow in and stun, and then Rabid Penguin can just boop himself out, gets himself over here somewhere, and then he just rip tires, runs it into this area, and boom, and you just explode their DPS, right? That's what I would be looking to do right now. So the swipe, I feel like, is kind of like panicked and doesn't really need to come out here. Like, he shouldn't really be in danger. He is kind of in more danger than he should be because you guys aren't controlling the bush with blazes as much as you should. But and it kind of roots you here, which is just kind of unfortunate with the APOC timing. So I think Rabid wants to look to just trait under himself and boop himself out ASAP here. Crafty probably wants to burrow in underneath them, and that'll save him from his APOC. The Blaze probably just has to walk down and then look to charge. He should be able to get the follow-up charge off of the Anub'arak burrow here on their engage, and then Piemaker can even shade in, and he might have to use trait here, actually. But that's what I would be like looking to react to on this APOC, is like, you guys have control of this, you guys are up a level, and you're way better at them. Like, this engage is not good, right? Leoric is in here, they don't have damage to follow up. This Entomb is not really a scary threat. The threat is the damage, not the Leoric. So I would be looking to engage on the damage, counter-engage on the damage, and if they're silenced, like, they're not going to do damage. So you guys don't need to be threatened. You guys have a super strong counter-engage here, and you should be fine. So I would look to hard engage on them in this bottom area here. So this is just kind of like, I see Anub'arak burrowing, and I see Pi gets out. The swipe timing is kind of unfortunate, and it just kind of makes this a whole mess, and Rabid does get himself out as well. So Maiev gets Tether. You're stunned, unfortunately. And then Anub'arak gets a burrow. On Diablo, it kind of misses the Orphea and Ana, unfortunately. And then Zul'jin is kind of zoned out, but you get the cage down. So as soon as you're out of this stun, you can even walk forward here. This Entomb should be ending soon. You might not be able to walk forward, actually, but Junkrat should be looking to pop Riptire immediately here, and you're just going to blow up Orphea. You can probably Cocoon Zul'jin in this case. Since he's outside of the cage, he's most likely not going to be a kill target if he's in range of Crafty right now. Probably off to like the bottom left of my screen. I can see him sort of on the minimap. But yeah, basically, like, as soon as you get out of this stun, you want to get whatever position you need to in order to get the silence in this cage. Like, underneath where, I don't know, just where I'm circling with the mouse, you know, on Ana and Orphea mainly, right? You also get in the Eternal Feast. So, like, right, the Entomb expires while the feast is down. You obviously don't want to walk into the feast and then silence in the feast. So yeah, walking down in this case makes perfect sense. Don't worry about that one. So yeah, you get the Lurking on down, you put the Cocoon on the right target, you pop the Riptire, you guys get one kill, don't even need to pop Riptire yet. Riptire is now going on Ana, right? Ana is now the kill target. She's walking away. You don't get the Riptire close enough to get the full damage on her. Why do you pop this here? Actually don't know. The Riptire does damage, more damage the closer it is to a target. So you should be able to have just ridden that on top of the Ana and then blown it up pretty much and killed that person instantly. Like, I think that pretty much kills them. It almost kills them as it is, like, it does half their health. Otherwise, I think you could have potentially gone on the tanks, but the tanks are just harder for you guys to kill here in this situation. So yeah, the Ana lives here where she probably shouldn't, but good Blaze Stun out of the Cocoon. You guys should definitely be looking to re-engage out of the Cocoon because they used all their ults pretty much. You're all still alive. They have no threat, and Zul'jin is squishy. And you guys also don't really have cooldowns, but you guys can definitely kill them. Ana does not have her burst heal power without Eye of Horus and like the level 16 instant reload talent. This is a good bunker. Does this actually dodge a guillotine? Oh no, the guillotine goes on the objective for no reason. Who is he even trying to hit? Maiev? Why does he think Maiev is going to walk over into the Leoric? Okay, weird. Anyway, you guys can get in the bunker here and Q and possibly kill Diablo, or have a Nubarak look to engage onto the Diablo. Like, Diablo charged in, he has no way of getting out. So if you have a Nubarak going in, if you have cooldowns soon, that you guys can definitely probably kill Diablo here. You don't need to worry about, well, that was good, killing the Ana. You don't need to worry about finishing off the shrine right now, right? Leoric is trying to solo it from 11 to 40, and you guys are at 37, so you can do this at any time you want. You have the choice here of holding it at 39 and taking your siege camp, or just pushing bottom. You do have death timers, but the death timers mostly only allow you to get the fort, and maybe still have it healthy enough to get some of the bottom keep wall, but most likely not actually get the keep. So in that case, I don't think there's a need for you to rush, so I think you guys could have taken the siege camp here. Before capping this Punisher. And then that way you would have the same Punisher basically get the same keep wall bottom, but they would also have the camp pushing mid, and you would get some of the mid wall. I didn't actually see that the bottom camp was up so soon. You definitely wanted to hold it if the bottom camp was up in like the next 20 seconds there, that you then could have pushed with the Punisher and the Impaler camp. In that case, you possibly could have gotten the keep, because you guys are going to be up level 13. So yeah, this is actually kind of a minor mistake. But diving past this is good. You eventually guys kind of realize that, like, where's Diablo going? He just has to walk all the way back. He should have been mounted up ages ago. How did he even... got dismounted here by something? The beetle actually dismounts him. He could have charged the beetle, maybe? Yeah, he could have walked over here and then, like, charged the beetle towards his fort. That would have potentially been an option, too. You actually could have just Anubarak, or not cocooned, impaled him with the Q out of the charge, and potentially it doesn't save him, but he at least has a chance. Yeah, this is good. I think you guys could have done this earlier at the fort, but it's good. Honestly, even in this situation, the Diablo kill actually doesn't get you much, because he doesn't have souls. Okay, but still, in this situation, like, it's Diablo and Leoric, and Leoric went up through mid, so it's only Diablo down here. You know he's not going to tank the jump, right? He has no need to. His wall is already dead. It's already going to be going to the fort. You guys could have even just done the camp at this point to have that pushing for the keep wall. I think that's better than getting this Diablo kill, but stalling the death timers is good. It's just that the death timers are so short that it doesn't actually get you very much, because the other 4 of them are respawned at this point. And he's still going to be up in like 10 seconds by the time this walks all the way to the wall. I do like killing the sidewall. It's good. Yep. Playing super aggressive here. They can't step up and bait the jump at all. It's actually way higher health than I thought it would be. Okay. I think you guys just need to be like more ready to go on this. Like, he's pretty much beelining it for being in range here, and you know it's going to jump. So I think you can even preemptively, like, throw the shade out here. Or preemptively dive with the Nubarak. Worst case scenario, you're diving on the Ana. Anyway. And she's much less mobile than the Leoric on the mount. And in that case, you can just go for the Ana. So I would just call, like, Leoric Ana, or something. Like, either one. And you guys can just blow him up. same as you previously did. Though the Ana actually gets out of range of the jump here. But yeah, you guys were just kind of like slow to react on this a little bit. You just still got the pull and the silence down. So yeah, this is good. However, in this case, Blaze is still walking forward and Anubarak is walking back. You generally want your front line to be kind of operating on the same page. So Blaze wants to go in here because he sees the root going down onto squishies. He probably has his stun up soon, and you guys want to be timing the Punisher jump to look to get another kill here. But he does get flipped by the Diablo. Does he actually interrupt a charge here? I want to see. No, it doesn't look like it. But yeah, to me, it looks like this Orphea is the closest one to the Punisher. She's most likely the one going to get jumped on. She has a nano boost right now. You do have a cocoon. I think you could even burrow in here, and I think your choice of cocoon target is still probably Zul'jin. But it actually might be Orphea here. If you can get the cocoon out in time, it'll mean that the Punisher jumps on Zul'jin instead, and then you could put him as your kill target, and then that kind of wastes their nano boost. But what you don't want to do is cocoon the person that the Punisher jump then kind of like whiffs, basically. So yeah, he just kind of went in too deep, like too fast, or without the team following up, or being ready to follow up, or being communicated, or whatever. There was some miscommunication here, basically. That flailing swipes kind of turns that offensive plan now into just get the keep and back out, right? So this could have been more offensive. He also gets super chunked so that you can't really go in on this jump now. So there was like a potential offensive advantage here where if you guys got like 1 or 2 more picks, honestly, you could have potentially just ended the game right now. You know, if you kill Orphea and Zeratul, or not, I keep saying Zeratul, Zul'jin, that they don't really have damage to back you off of a core push, potentially. Super good Junkrat Mine, super good Cocoon on the Diablo instantly. This Orphea is a free kill. Easiest Orphea kill of your life. Okay, now, yes, diving past is good. The Punisher jump is going to look to go on Leoric, but you guys should still be able to kill Ana here. I think I would mainly be trying to kill Ana. Oh, did Ana not get pulled? What happened here? I thought this was Ana, but maybe it's Zul'jin. Oh, okay. The pull only goes on the Zul'jin. Well then, yeah, he's your main kill target. Never mind, ignore me. The Apoc's good. It almost jumps on him. Almost. Unfortunate. I mean, you're making them waste Apoc on the core here with like no follow-up or whatever. So now you're entirely cool to back out, right? You got the entire fort, or keep. You got another kill. You can get the well on the way out. It's free real estate. Cool, we're happy. You're up 2.5 levels. They're still not level 13. You guys are smooth sailing, coasting your way to victory. So, yep, while they have a person dead, take the camp that's on their side of the map. It's free real estate still. I like the anchor by Anubarak also. Taking this camp now feels kind of bittersweet, because it's like, imagine what could have been. But it's fine. Getting it off the map is good. Gets you more experience on the way to 16. The Anubarak anchoring hero was fine. It's fine. Never mind. I like it, actually. They weren't ever going to invade you on the bottom camp anyway, so it's fine. So, if you guys wanted to look on this rotation, like invade, I wouldn't even call it an invade. Engage, whatever. Looking for a pick here on this rotation that they're doing. Maev needs to not be like the furthest back person, because Maev is the main follow-up to the engage that kind of makes everything go together here. So with Maev this far back, I would say you most likely can't do it. What you can do is these bruiser camps are going to be up soon. that you can probably get set up in the topside jungle area and look to get a pick on somebody face checking a bush in there. So it looks like you kind of end up backing off and choosing to do that instead, because you know you're not going to get a pick bot side. I do like getting this camp, it's fine. One thing you guys could have done here is take this first camp and then potentially just held the cap on it with Anubarak and Blaze, and then had like the other DPS Junkrat and Maev, or maybe Junkrat and Stukov. Go take this other camp and cap that one first, and then cap the right one, just so that they're like synced up mid. But that's very vulnerable to an engage, to an invade potentially on the camp. That it's kind of just like, I don't know. They don't have APOC. They also don't have Feast, I think, and they probably don't have Nano Boost. That maybe you would have been fine taking that fight. It might have been before they were 13, but I like just not taking the risk. This is fine. Like I said, you guys are smooth coasting your way to victory here. So here, this is just kind of like chickens with their heads cut off. Looking lost. You're still trying to look for a pick on the bot side waves here, or you're trying to push in the camp mid and get damage on the wall. This is fine. Okay. After you get the tower, though, there's nothing else to get. So back off and do the bruiser camp. Or get set up and be ready to kill somebody. Like, you can have one clearing the wave, and the rest set up to kill somebody on their bruiser camp. But this is a lot of wasted time. This is like 5 seconds already. 10 seconds. You are 16. I can kind of understand wanting to pressure up here. I think, like, giving them a fight under their keep, though, is probably the best fight that they're going to get, right? Because they're never going to get a even talent tier fight for a while. I think you guys could have taken their top bruisers, most likely, taken your bruisers and pushed top fort down, and then the objective is up, and they try and fight into that. And I think that's maybe a better call and more likely. You also have, like, playing the top side of the map here when you have the bottom keep dead also, to me, just makes a lot more, like, intuitive sense, where you're going to be pressuring one of them to stay bot side at least to defend the catapults and the camp currently. That then you'll just have a 5v4 on the top half of the map if you guys are just all playing up there. There's also nothing to get for you on the bottom side of the map. You cleared out literally every camp. So yeah, this just feels kind of like you're hoping that they step up and let you get a pick under their keep with 16. And obviously that would be nice, but it's kind of optimistic, I think. So yeah, you guys could have done this earlier. You didn't need to wait for the shrine activation on stealing their camp. You would ideally have wanted to wait for the shrine activation to take your camp here, so that works out. You do get Blaze soaking, so you guys probably missed like a wave or two of soak top lane doing that, for sure. You also could have gotten a little bit of experience from the top wall, too, and maybe potentially killed the well. And in that case, like, their ability to contest on this shrine is like so much less, because they just have nowhere to go for safety, nowhere to go for a well tap, and yeah, so they're just giving up. Obviously, they're never going to be able to fight you on the point. They couldn't have done that earlier because their comp has no clear, wave clear or shrine clear, so they're just pushing bot lane. I like prepping the wave mid with Anubarak and killing the top fort with Blaze. Anubarak is pressed up pretty far here, but they are still playing all on vision, so you know you're not going to get invaded from them coming mid. And then yeah, just run it straight to mid keep, force them to respond to you. And this is how you get the pick mid, is with the Punisher, right? The Punisher is basically, like right now, the game is a 6v5, because Punisher is basically a hero. Gives you guaranteed CC, and then it's going to punch people, and it's going to do like 300 damage a punch. And those right hooks, man, they hurt. So yeah, imagine having 6v5 plus the 16 talent tier advantage here. pushing bot lane was also really good for them because, like I said, that's the way that they're going to have the most pressure. So the further they can push it up here, the longer it'll be before it finally pushes back to them that they'll have to respond. And so they can let the wave build up to like 2 or 3 catapults and then clear it when it finally reaches the core, because they have core shield and whatever. Okay, so this fight here, Punisher's coming in, looking for a jump. You guys are not set up here to get a kill off this Punisher jump. Doesn't matter if it's Diablo right now. You could completely kill this person. But Blaze was still coming topside. So Blaze needs to be down here earlier once you guys cap the objective, right? You don't need to get like a tower or whatever top when you already have the camp, so the wave doesn't need to be pushed. Like, you guys are completely fine. You need to be looking to win the game. You're going to win the game here, most likely no matter what, but making it super, super guaranteed better. So Blaze should be in here. If Blaze is closer, then you have Crafty and Pi able to be stepped up a little bit more here and looking to hard engage on whatever gets jumped on. So right now, they don't really go in with the Punisher. So you guys kind of miss a kill opportunity here. Pi tries to go in. He doesn't really get the tether, again, because it was just kind of slow to react, and you guys weren't really set up and looking to react on it. And then Pi goes in really deep here. So I think this is basically just trying to reach for the tether and reach for the kill. And you guys feel that you're in such a commanding position that like you should be able to do this, but you're in the middle of their 5 of their team. You're doing what Leoric was doing earlier, walking into the 5 of their team, and your front line's way back here. And your healer is also way back here. And like, if he was Malfurion, maybe he can heal you from here by poking Moonfires onto the Leoric, but he's Stukov, and he can't heal you from here. So yeah, this is just in way too deep. You get wall stunned and entombed. So this entomb goes down. Blaze needs to walk to this wall and drop a bunker. And then Pi gets in the bunker and exits the entomb. That is your main counterplay to entomb. Pretty much always is bunker, if they're using it offensively. But we have Blaze way up here. I don't know who he's going to ever bunker. Maybe the Bruiser or Shaman camp. But that's about it. But the heroes that go in the bunker are on the bottom side right now. So you guys all want to generally play to the same side of like the keep, basically. Occasionally it's fine for like one person to go around, but especially the front line, especially like a less mobile front line or whatever. Like Tracer can maybe like blink around the top side here to access the back line of like Zul'jin and Ana or something, but Blaze is not going to be blinking around, right? Blaze is going to be doing his waddle steps and walking up and then charging up a stun and then eventually getting in there, and it's like a slower process, right? So you want him to be closer to the action so that that time can, like, it's just the charge up of the stun and then the stun. It doesn't need to be all the waddling to get around the keep before he can be participating in the fight. So you guys do a pretty good job of dodging the APOC here. This actually would have been a good time to use flailing swipes as well. It is just pretty much right now, as soon as you walk out of the feast and the APOC circles, is I would still even be looking to step forward, because the further you step forward, the further they're going to get flailing swiped back. And you have Junkrat playing way back here, and Junkrat needs to be also up. He's getting zoned off by the APOC circles and the feast right now. So you just want to swipe them away. That gives Pi an ability to get out of the feast, in theory, and the APOC circles will disappear, and then you can have Junkrat participating in the fight, and then you guys look to get a pick off the next Punisher leap, and that way you look to win the game. So I think Pi kind of panicked and used Warden's Cage here to try and prevent them from being able to hard engage on him with like Diablo and stuff as much into the Entomb. He gets slept, which is also kind of unfortunate for him. But yeah, I think this could have been a time where swipes, you could even do it kind of down here as well, or more horizontally, like diagonally bottom, down right, whatever works. But like this would have been a good time to use swipes in that kind of situation where one of your team is out too far and gets caught. I said it was kind of bad earlier on the bottom keep, so I'm being a tiny bit contradictory here, but like this case is kind of different because you still had the ability to look for kills in that situation, whereas in this one you don't really. Just the way that the fight is working. with Blaze looping around here, Rabid Penguin being stuck way back here, and things like that. And like Maiev is like the main setup for the kills, and you can't really do that if Maiev dies here, so you need to protect the Maiev as much as you can. So you guys let this feast kind of destroy you, unfortunately. We live, though. And we are completely calculating these health bars, baiting the Leoric, all according to plan. It was a bait the entire time. Excellently played by Pi, baiting their entire team into their frontline dying, so that you guys can win the game. Diablo does have souls, though, so he's back, of course, but... oh. This first kill is good, and then start hitting the core more. Junkrat should just be trying to zone off the Orphea from killing the catapults. You guys should basically only be zoning the Orphea from killing the catapults, and then hitting core as much as you can, obviously, too. But it felt like you guys kind of spent a little bit too long hitting people around this way, and then, yeah, the swipes is good to finish off the core and secure it. So, yep, that was good. Alright. I didn't expect that game to actually take an hour. I had more to talk about in that one than I thought I would. Okay. Game 2 time. So again, we had a plan going in here. We banned Durand. Their bans were funny because they banned every single piece of the team comp instead of just one key piece of it. And they banned Anubarak and then Maiev, where it would have made more sense to ban Maiev and then Anubarak. But yeah. Pre-Jaina pick. This is how the plan should have gone in game 1. They get Ana Johanna. I think they placed a high priority on taking Ana here because they thought you would want to go Ana Jaina. But yeah, this is kind of like Ana doesn't. I mean, Ana pairs pretty well with Johanna, but if you're taking Jaina and banning Kel'Thas and then taking Diablo Thrall, like Ana really doesn't have anyone good to work with. Orphea's okay. I liked picking Thrall here because you're not really showing whether it's 4-man Thrall or offlane Thrall. And they can't, like, you're just making it more ambiguous for them to play around him as a flex pick. You can pick Diablo because they've already shown Johanna, so you know they're not going to go Garrosh. And even if they did, you have Johanna. Thrall also takes away a good target for Ana to nano boost. Thrall getting nano boosted is pretty crazy. And then, yeah, they banned Stukov after you already weren't going to go like a Stukov comp with the Maiev, because that also got banned. So this is weird. So this ban, I was trying to go through of like, why did you guys ban Tychus? Because it actually surprised me in this draft. It wasn't, I think, one of your main like comfort picks for them, and it wasn't really a planned thing here. But so you already took away most of the mages that are good with the Ana, right? You've shown yourself to now take away the Thrall, and then they have Johanna, but they, like, right now they have no good damage. And even if they do take a mage with Ana, mages aren't really good at killing tanks. Jaina is about the only one that's good at killing tanks, which is why she's good, is that she can still, like, burst 100 to 0 tanks. Kel'Thas is also kind of decent when he gets, like, the Flame Strike % health damage talents, but he's also banned. So, at this point you're thinking, we have Diablo, they have no way of killing Diablo, we just need Diablo to not die. And so, at that point you're kind of narrowing it down to, well, they're going to need to pick somebody who can kill Diablo. And so that's like Tychus, that's Malthael, and that's Thrall a little bit, but you already took Thrall, and a couple other people. Greymane is in there. So you're picking Greymane potentially into Jaina Thrall and Diablo, and while Greymane is kind of decent into Diablo, he's not that good, and it's kind of tricky. I also think Greymane isn't the best on this map, just because he doesn't really get the like camp advantage of being able to take camps super early because your team is already taking these camps super early anyway, and stuff like that. So I don't think Greymane works as well here, and he's pretty vulnerable into your team. The Malthael is a concern, but I believe their offlaner doesn't really play Malthael at all. But that's a main concern with the Ana Nano Boost, that could be potentially kind of a problem. But also, Malthael isn't that good into Thrall Jaina. So even if they did pick Malthael here, I don't think you're that concerned. So I actually ended up basically narrowing it down to, yeah, Tychus makes the most sense as a ban here. And it's like, it's kind of weird, but I actually just ended up agreeing with this. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of amazed that you were able to narrow all that down, like, in the draft. And you maybe probably didn't, like, fully, but yeah. I feel like you narrowed it down faster than I could, even. There's a couple other good, like, auto attackers that are good for tank killers. It's pretty much only auto attackers, though, at that point. So you do have Falstad, he has Giant Killer. You have Vala, she has Giant Killer talent. You have Phoenix, he has a Giant Killer talent. There's probably other people that I'm forgetting. I think Hanzo actually technically has percent health damage. But yeah, like, you don't really need to be that worried about them because you have Thrall. And Thrall is just going to poke them, and you have a Diablo already, so they're not going to be able to step up very easily. So yeah. I think you're fine, basically. So you guys want to go Hanzo here, gives yourself a good combo. So you're looking for like Apoc Ring, maybe Sunder in there, and Hanzo for the engage also with Dragon Arrow. I remember, I know Malfurion is kind of a comfort pick for Solskjaer. I do remember thinking in this draft that you probably wanted to go either Lucio or Deckard here in this situation, and I ended up leaning more towards Deckard. For one, at that point, I was thinking, okay, no matter what they're doing, especially once they've shown Alarak and Falstad, is that they're probably going to have good disengage, which is why I like the Hanzo and the Lucio as well. Is that those have good hard engage, so that they don't have as like good of an ability to disengage, I guess. And then with Alarak especially, like, they're going to have to blow up somebody, right? Alarak is a good pairing for Ana, but they were struggling to find a good Ana target there. That gave them the blow up they needed on your team comp. And so Deckard's level 7 talent, the Kanai's Cube, has the like 30% damage reduction that I think would have been really effective. You have Sleep, which is just another like start combo into a Apoc or a Sunder or a Dragon Arrow or a Ring. Sleep it's like good to disengage yourself also, if you guys need to disengage and stuff like that. So I think Deckard ended up being my preferred pick here, with Lucio as a second place. But yeah, so I think those could have been slightly better than Malfurion, just because I think Malfurion is going to have trouble here being able to get like Dream off, and so it seems like he's kind of not bringing much to the table in terms of a heroic contribution. But I think you guys play pretty well with the Malfurion, and so I'm all right with it. And then they ended up going Greymane because they were kind of desperate to try and find blow up for the Alarak. And so yeah, at this point their team is pretty much built to just pick somebody off, right? You have Curse Bullet, Alarak combo. If they do that on a person, they're probably dead. They can gust away the rest of the team, and Johanna and Ana can just fish for a sleep into a Bless Shield in order to start that engage and get the pick set up for Alarak and Greymane. So Crafty is going to have to play super, 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 super scared. past level 10, in theory. Oh yeah, this is where I mentioned you guys did your lane setups the swapped way again, and you had 4 people bot side, and I mentioned that like I thought you guys might have expected that Falstad would have been bottom, and then he ended up not being bottom, and that's like surprised you couldn't get a pick or whatever. Blizzard was good. Central top. I think you could have had more people go on the conveyor and stay with the Diablo here looking for a pick on rotation, but most likely nobody's going to rotate through there, and so I think you also could have just gone through here and then just looked to come all the way down and just like engage flip on the Alarak here. But with Jaina using Blizzard on the wave, you don't really have the blow up potential as much early game. And Diablo is just mainly looking for souls, so it's good. We start the camp. I actually forget if Hanzo went W or Q quest here. I want to say he went Q, but I don't remember. So yep, you see them slow to take their turret. You guys take support camp. Zoning route was good. Come away happy. The zoning route was also good to protect the Hanzo there. You are kind of using a lot of mana. That one maybe wasn't as necessary, but it's fine. I think after you clear this wave, you want Jaina, maybe Hanzo, and one other person to go and take this siege camp immediately, though. Oh, you do? Okay, good. Diablo's still getting souls. So yeah, you guys were like kind of late on it, that like you guys won the 2 items. You should be able to be set up on this point here. You're even having bottom cleared faster than they are. That Thrall is rotating up, so you should be able to have the 5 people on here to start this. I think sooner that you were just slightly slow on getting that camp, but it's not the end of the world. They are kind of getting a lot of percentage out of this though. So slowing this down here. I think you want to hold Blizzard until you guys have it, like, you know that people are going to be in that area, basically. So which probably means a Malfurion route, a Thrall route, or a Diablo CC, and then whatever else following up behind that in whatever order. That, yeah, this is just, like, nobody's going to stand there to get multiple hits of this. It almost looks like a misclick to me, or that you were just trying to go on the Grey Mane, but I think you kind of have to wait for your tank, like, in this situation or whatever, if like Crafty is calling Greymane, just wait until he like flips Greymane here or something and then charges him back. And then you can just like step over this way and like Blizzard whatever way the Greymane's going. And potentially get kills that way. So yeah, I think you guys could have you charge first and then flip the Greymane here. I think there was a lot of opportunity in here where you could have flipped Greymane and then charged him back and he would have just been a free kill. You do get kind of chunked out. Drop the turret. That was a good time to drop turret. Good time to drop heal camp as well. As you're poking them out, you kill their turret. Thrall is going down to catch bot wave. You're pushing out mid wave, trying to get globes for Jaina. I'm okay with using Blizzard there. Dismounting Johanna. We see Falstad top. Our camp is back up because we did it first. I think you guys could have been on this slightly earlier, actually. Just like 5 seconds, maybe. Just been on it right as it spawns. So they do actually almost look to come back on this in time, I think. They were just slow. This was kind of over-aggressive to me, it felt like. It felt like you guys were happy just winning the point. I do like that Piemaker stepped back on it. And they backed off far enough. I don't know. To me, this feels like they could have looped around if they were more coordinated and had false dead fly in, and this would have been like a 5-on-3, and you're in such an awkward spot, and Pie's stuck over here that maybe he gets cut off, things like that. That I don't know. That just seemed like scary to me. And then the other thing is, after getting this, they're controlling this space, and this has the conveyor. So at this point, you guys just need to like you got what you wanted out of this. You got the invade on the turret. Go down this way, and then take the conveyor and get back onto the point that way. Coming in through these like side angles is how you're going to get choked off, basically, because it's such a small area for them to control. And especially, you can't have like Diablo dive past and then the DPS try to get through that way also, because then the DPS is going to have to be stepping through their team. So that was just kind of like miscommunication, or they have to get stuck walking on these conveyors or something, and then you've already used your charge CC, so like if Diablo's on the point and then can charge Greymane here, sure, that works great, but it doesn't work out really, and then so he just takes a bunch of damage and gets poked off and actually dies. You do get the turret down before you die, but then you're also zoned off, whereas they're like they are just controlling this area as like 4 or 5 of them and fighting 5-on-3 here and a 5-on-2 here, right? And they're winning both sides. And now they're getting a 5v4. You also had to place your turrets kind of awkwardly. You want the turrets to be, on the point control. And you had to use both the turrets, where in theory, if you're up 2 turrets there, you probably only have to use 1 in order to win the point. So you guys do get the trade kill. They get another trade kill. They almost get another trade kill on Pi. He lives with like 1 HP. So yeah, that was kind of just awkward positioning there. Oh, does Penguin get out? Okay, he does. Excellent BM by standing still and mounting up, with no fear of the Alarak. And so yeah, they actually end up winning the first Protector, despite you winning 2 turrets, which should never happen. And it was pretty much just because of the positioning on that fight there, on the conveyors and stuff, where you got what you wanted, just get reset up back on the point, back in the formation of the tanks in front and the DPS protected behind them that you would want, and then force them to fight into you on the point with 2 turrets instead of, a 5v2 picking off your Malfurion on the conveyors because he gets stuck with Diablo not able to appeal. This is also just a really scary place to run, and getting stuck by this conveyor and stuck behind this well and stuff like that. That yeah, now you have to like walk all the way around. You generally want to stay in the more open side on this fort fight in this bottom area. Getting stuck up here is a really easy way to get picked off. Diablo's looking for the flank here. You guys are actually way ahead in experience. So I think you wanted to ideally get like a pick when the mech expired and they were going to be stepped up really far. But unfortunately, you kind of just got scouted out by it. But you're level 10 off this wave. You guys can fight over the support camp. Have Thrall come up. He's already prepped the bottom wave, pushing it in. Alarak has to be defending bottom. You're up 5v4 with level 10s. Free support camp. You guys need to be all on this sooner, I think. And Diablo can be stepped up over here faster. Zoning them off like this. This is good. Make sure to pick it up. Yeah. And then I would probably leave Thrall top at this point. Get that top soak. And then they're level 10 now. You already have the support camp. I would just be happy getting our turret camp, right? You're just going to fight with 1 item advantage, and the most powerful item is support camp on the fight for the top objective. Oh, that was also my thing with the whole like swapping lanes at the start. I forgot to mention this last time actually. Was it seemed like you were potentially okay with giving your opponents the support camp and you guys getting 2 turret camps as like the plan for the early game potentially. Like I said, if you guys start your 4-man bottom or whatever, then they should just have the 4-man take the support camp, and then you guys potentially invade theirs and get 2 turrets. And I think turret plus support camp is better than 2 turret camps. So in that sense, you would be more willing to let your opponents take their turret for free and then fight them over the support camp, rather than giving them the support camp for free and fighting them over the turret, if that makes sense. So the priority on that was a little strange. I'm still not like entirely opposed to it, and it is pretty effective, but again, I think that's just because it's kind of like catching teams off guard that aren't really prepared to take support camp instantly if they see you guys playing bot side. So you let them kind of finish off the fort, I think, which is kind of unfortunate. How did that happen? Thrall just gets pushed in. Hanzo was mid. I think Hanzo just needed to be topside then. You don't need Hanzo and Diablo anchoring mid. Either Diablo's topside or Hanzo's topside, one of the two. But one of them needs to be helping Thrall here. So yeah, that's kind of rough. It's not the end of the world, but could have probably been avoidable. Alternatively, if you're just going to leave the one guy top, you could have just had your 4-man, like, just trade the top fort for their turret camp and just take their turret camp instead. That's also a viable option here, maybe. Because they showed Ana and Falstad top, and Falstad could potentially fly, but Ana's not going to get to their turret camp anytime soon, and if they don't have a healer on it, you guys should be able to win there. So yeah, he went go for the throat and not curse bullet, which pretty much to me meant like, oh, you automatically won this game. Okay, cool. Because yeah, now their team comp, like, they have 2 finishers and nobody who can really do enough sustained damage to like actually burst somebody, really. Falstad works decently late game, but he's going to have to scale up for that late game. And right now you guys are in control of the early game pretty strongly, even despite the lost fort and lost first mech. So yeah, to me, I see 5 people topside. I saw Alarak bottom, clearing a wave. These people are stepped up on our side of the map. We should rotate on them for kills. I would say Diablo should even look to go around this way and try and cut them off. Because yeah, it's unlikely that they'll just have walked like straight towards you or whatever. They would probably have walked back, and then you could have potentially cut them off there and gotten like a wall stun. So yeah, going on the Johanna, not really ideal. Clearing the camp though is good. Want to push your waves out before this objective. You're letting them push in mid-wave, and you're not really contesting them. Diablo should be set up in this bush. If you guys aren't going to be clearing mid-wave, you should be set up in this bush and like looking to control the rotation. And then get set up on the top objective first. You see Falstad bottom, see Johanna and Greymane mid, see Alarak top. So like if Diablo has just been in this bush this entire time, you just hard engage on Alarak right now and he's a free kill. And then you get set up on the point 5v4. So yeah, you guys kind of played reactively there, weren't really set up with a plan of what to do in terms of clearing the waves or not clearing the waves or whatever. I think Diablo should be, like, somebody else can be stepped up on the point, probably Malfurion, staying on the point on like the lower side, left side here, and then Diablo can even be stepped up, trying to like zone them off and like basically daring them to walk through this way and getting wall stunned, with Jaina and Hanzo and Thrall able to like pressure off the Johanna from walking in on this side. That they should be dumping spells into her and not allowing her to walk in this way. Remember, I think I told you guys this last time of like, you want your opponents to be going through these like narrow choke points. Don't let them push the wave and then come in through here and get like the flank on you and force you into the choke point as your way out, especially when you don't have the fort. You guys want to be controlling this area. So Diablo zoning them off of here means they're going to have to go around here, and then if your DPS can zone them off here, is just like they'll have to make the awkward choice. And then of course sometimes one person will like make the awkward choice and then regret it, and then when they get chunked by the DPS, they'll want to go and escape, and then you'll have half of their team on this side and one person like half HP over here trying to run away, and then you can kill them. So yeah, like can go back a couple seconds here. You eventually just lose vision entirely of this area, right? No vision of this area. You guys are all three way back here, and you have two people on point. So if I'm their team, I'm walking in right now in front of Thrall, not letting him meet back up with you guys, and I've split your front line and your back line, and we got the flank on the point that we wanted. They're down a talent tier and the items still, so you guys can still potentially win that fight. Also, Johanna's the only one that seems to apparently know this and intuitively or whatever, and is not communicating to her team. And so if their whole team was here and they had Curse Bullet, then they could probably have just killed Diablo by this point, and your DPS and heals can have no say in that and help virtually zero. Like Hanzo could maybe Dragon Arrow, but they still probably kill Diablo. They just Curse Bullet, Alarak combo, gust you all away or whatever, and he's dead. He probably has souls, but still. The point is, you're letting them walk onto the point for free. You guys are now trying to clear the wave, where if you were controlling this area this whole time, then just stepping down, throwing a blizzard on here, you would control the wave a lot easier, instead of having Diablo be way up here and Jaina be all the way down here. So yeah, this is definitely coming down to like a huge positioning thing on these point fights. This Dragon Arrow is like... This is also a reason why you would want them to be in these choke points, is it makes like these Dragon Arrows really free. This one seems like kind of risky. To me, it seems like they are kind of spread out here, and Dragon Arrow maybe hits like one or two of them at most. You do kind of get lucky. You do see Falstead here, and it looks like Greymane is going to potentially try and walk in, that you can get like a 3 or 4 man Dragon Arrow hero when you rip it. But they also are splitting up this way, and they might be splitting down this way, or like coming down this way, that they'll split off from this, that this could have potentially been a field goal. I think this was kind of like a panicked one of, you can see they're stepping on the point, they're engaging on the point, we're split from Diablo, I need to stall them engaging on the point or whatever. You guys did do a good job of calling out that like you needed to use APOC pretty much as the Dragon Arrow like hits, if not slightly even before, in order to get that combo off. But then of course, if you had like Jaina stepped up here, then she could step in after that and ring in like this circle and get like 3 people with it off the Dragon Arrow stun or whatever. But Jaina is stuck behind this box. There's no way of getting a ring follow-up off of this. Thrall can Sunder, and he should probably look to Sunder the Ana and Alarak here. Or not Alarak, Ana and Falstead. And he could probably get the Alarak also. It's just Sunder out of the APOC and Sunder them up vertically. And then Jaina should just be walking in and look to ring. Maybe even, well, it's kind of hard into the Greymane, but yeah. The problem is, like, this setup is weird. And Diablo can't really, like, stun. Like, Diablo should stun this Alarak off with this APOC, but he was having to use the CC to peel himself. But yeah, you can self-combo APOC. So whenever you press APOC, you should be able to, like, charge Q, E, and guaranteed that somebody gets stunned in it. So not only do you not get a good ring follow-up off the APOC, you don't get the Diablo stuns off the APOC, you let the Alarak get a counter-strike off. And I can't see if you guys actually proc it or not. Looks like you don't, which is good. And then you do get the stun here. And you looks like you were trying to get the flip maybe into the ring. And the ring is good at zoning the Falstead and Ana here. I'm a little scared for Jaina right now walking into Greymane, and then Johanna does get the interrupt so that Diablo can't flip. This is a good Sunder. It should have come out earlier, I think, on the APOC follow-up. And then, yeah, Jaina pretty much gets eaten by Greymane. The Gust actually saves Jaina and baits the Greymane in too far so that you kill Greymane. And now you've somehow gotten a 1 for 0 and 68% of the point while misplaying this massively. So yeah, you guys are kind of stumbling your way to victory, which, hey, the victory counts. But these could be so much more one-sided, so much more stompy, that it's kind of crazy. And even just doing those fundamental things, like you're already getting leads and already stomping people, and it can even be so much more. It's crazy. Okay. So yeah, you have one person dead, and it's their main damage and main kill pressure. So this support camp feels free. Although you did just use all your ults, but so did they. They didn't use Nano. Or Bless Shield, maybe? I didn't see if the Bless Shield came down, but I think you could have potentially gone for the support camp here. So, same problem again. Round 2 deja vu time. Johanna walks in. Jaina's not pressuring her off at all. The Diablo's not pressuring off the DPS or the other tank at all with CC. Like, if you can use Diablo's CC pressure to get Johanna to pop her trait as she's like trying to step up, then potentially she can't step up, and then her trait's on cooldown when she does need to step up, and then you can kill her that way. Or she just then has to step up and take the damage instead of having it taken on the shield. You know, lots of other like good benefits to pressuring her off here. But yeah, I can see them controlling this area now, and you guys are split, right? Split down the middle basically by this terrain and by having Diablo stay on the point. You probably want the person that wants to be staying as far back on the point in this situation as possible, and the rest that are stepped up in order to control this area and this area, which would be Diablo, and then Jaina and Thrall and Hanzo over here, and then have Malfurion stepped up back here. Because you have like the Diablo as kind of like your defensive lineman in football or whatever, and then Hanzo is kind of like the quarterback, but Malfurion's even like further back than the quarterback. I don't know. He's like on the quarterback's shoulders, like piggyback riding or something. Good route to interrupt the false dead chase on the Thrall here. That probably saves his life. Maybe. But also you can see Thrall's getting engaged on. No CC or peel from Diablo. We're using Blizzard without having the follow-up. I think you were using that for wave clear, maybe? Or using it to try and maybe look on the Jaina? Or the Johanna, I mean? Or the false dead? It's hard to tell. I would have saved that for the wave clear or just follow up on CC. If you actually just Blizzarded the false dead here, you might have been able to burst him. Yeah, maybe not. He got burst healing from the Ana. So yeah, your contribution right now from Diablo in terms of peel is that he cast a W. I mean, it was kind of surprisingly effective. They all got zoned off and didn't stop and stopped chasing the Thrall, and Johanna got rooted and is getting pretty chunked now. So it kind of worked, and you guys got the mech, but it could have been a lot cleaner. So here you kind of have a choice of what you want to do with the mech. Doing some damage to this wall is fine. It's close enough right now that you're not really going to lose much from it. I think I would prioritize mid wall and bottom wall over top fort, personally. I would look to eliminate their wells and just try and set up for the bottom point. I do think you still have an item. You have Jaina has a turret. I can't see if Diablo still has an item or not. He doesn't, it looks like. So it's just Jaina that has the turret. Also, you probably want Jaina outside of the mech here, and probably Hanzo inside. Just because Jaina is going to have more kill pressure. Maybe I would even want Diablo outside of the mech. It depends on if you still need souls or not. I don't know. If you still need souls, you want to be outside the mech for sure. And then in that case, I might put Thrall in instead. I don't know. Maybe this is fine. I think Hanzo should be in instead of Jaina, though. Most of Hanzo's damage is against heroes, whereas Jaina does a lot better like structure damage burst. Because like you can't use Hanzo W to deal siege damage, right? It's just like not how the ability works. You can kind of only use Q and autos. And he's, with Jaina in the mech, he's using Q mainly for wave clear, not really for pressuring heroes. Well, if he's not using it for wave clear, he wants to be able to use it to pressure heroes, but then he's having to use it for structure damage, so you guys get pushing power. So yeah, I don't think you should have gone for the full-on fort there. I think getting like the well was good, and then you should have gone bottom, or mid and bottom earlier, and just tried to get these walls. Just poke them. Right now, you guys are like stepped up really far. If you see your DPS back here, and they can't really step up either, like you can step up with the wave. Just stepping into their structures when they're 5 here defending you is just like, they're just going to free hit it and get a bunch of damage on it. So right now it's 62%. You take like a couple tower shots, 61%, 60%. Okay, those 2 autos from Greymane are fine. It's like one more out of there, one more out of there. Okay. But like now you have Falstead starting to hit it. So this could be at like maybe 56% right now. And then you can see it's just going to drop a lot more. You could have just poked this down with the laser and the Q. So instead of 56%, we have 38%. So that's what, 28? No, it's 18% less than it could have. And then if it's 18% health higher, instead of walking up top here also and taking more poke damage from Greymane, you guys shouldn't be looking for kills here. Use the mech to siege. Push in bot wave, get the bot well. That's where the next objective is. You could maybe even, like, you can look for kills, but if you're looking for kills, at least try and get poke damage on the well at the same time. So like Q the well and a hero that's standing near the well at the same time, like Falstead right now. And at least get a dual purpose with it that way. But yeah, you guys kind of like wasted like a bunch of health on the mech there and like a solid 20, 25 seconds of it. That also would have gotten you more experience if you got some of like the bottom towers to be closer to 16. I expected this would take an hour and it's going to take 2 hours. Jeez. It's alright. I'm more than happy to. I think I'm starting, like, I saw you guys kind of like did well. Now I'm kind of like having to find a lot more of the small stuff for you guys to work on instead of just like big macro decisions and stuff. Which is a good sign, like, don't get me wrong. But it does mean that these are almost taking longer than they were previously. So yeah, you guys are almost 16 here. You do kind of let them get set up on this awkwardly. So A, it's because you're at less experience right now than you would have been when the mech died. I don't think you need all 3 of you to do this camp. Either Jaina or Hanzo, one of them should be fast clearing this wave right now. And then it should have been dead probably at this point, and you all could have been rotating up through mid and met up with Diablo right now. And then all been looking to go on the support camp. But right now, like, that's what their team did basically. And you see all of them were in a group that met up with Greymane, I think it was, mid. And yeah, you guys just kind of got slow doing this rotation by not clearing the wave. You guys had 3 people on camp when you didn't need to, and it pretty much gave them support camp for free. It was a good gust by Falstead. But luckily, we have Hanzo. So, we APOC'd before Arrow here. Which I think is fine, kind of, but I think Hanzo had already arrowed at this point. Maybe not, I can't tell. No, he arrows. right then, like half a second before this. I don't know. This could have maybe been better communicated. Because I think if you arrow into APOC here, then you guys have a much better re-engage, or like counter-engage on this. Because imagine if there's 3 APOC circles that explode under these guys. Malfurion is able to walk in, get a dream. Diablo stuns. Yeah, you're sundering them here. You drop a ring. Yeah, like you wipe at least their 3 backline, probably one at the front line. Johanna's left to just walk back. I mean, this is still pretty insane, as it is, even without the APOC. Well, the APOC does kind of lead into the Dragon Arrow being better, but yeah, it's lucky. I think the Sunder didn't hit the Ana. Yeah. So this is just kind of reaching on the Sunder. I think you were trying to use it to follow up as kind of like a panicked, like, oh, he Dragon Arrowed and it hit, and this is crazy, we need to engage. No, 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 we already used APOC, I need to do something. Yeah. I think if you're using APOC, Dragon Arrow, and Sunder at this point, you need to drop turret. You need to be walking in looking for like a 5-man dream, and you guys are just fully committing to this. You're level 16. Force them to fight you after taking half their health bars chunked out already. So yeah, just walk in a slight bit more and try and aim it. I think you were trying to push them off the objective, maybe? I think I'm looking to get kills here and use that to get a huge advantage. Because then you guys can go push bot with kills. I don't think you need the item. In fact, I'm okay with using my items here. Because if you guys have a bot lane fort and they don't have a bot lane fort, you guys pretty much will win the bottom objective, in theory. You're also still ahead on experience, and you'll get a bunch of experience from these kills. So I want to secure these kills. So I actually wanted the Sunder to go like more this way and push them onto the point, sort of, even. And that would be a good setup for the Diablo to stun them into, also. This is a good ring. Ana walks back into it, and Alarak doesn't dodge it either. And Greymane gets flipped into it, sort of. If Falstad actually steals the support item and is able to E out, made a clean getaway. You guys look to kill. Beautiful route. Excellently done, Thrall. Look to kill Greymane here and then follow up on the Ana. Beautiful stun follow-up. You look to dream, it got interrupted. Kind of unlucky. I don't think you guys actually get the Ana kill. It's kind of unlucky. You used Blizzard on the Greymane kill. I don't think you needed to. But it looks like you didn't necessarily know that he was going to die that fast. Well, you also didn't know the Thrall route was coming out. Yeah, it's more understandable, but... I think Malfurion should have stepped in earlier here and dream like now. Like dream, you have to dream before you see the condemn. And you could have actually just killed her with the dream there. Crafty lives somehow. So yeah, you guys still come up off of that, despite losing the item and using all your ults. Except for Dream, I guess. Yeah, go push bottom. Send one person to still soak top here. Maybe. Maybe not. They do have Falstad. Yeah, it would be kind of vulnerable to a gank. Yeah, this is fine. You guys just want to push bot here. The anchoring by Diablo is good, but you do have Hanzo for vision control. That yeah, he can probably step up with you now. And you did see Johanna still topside. Yeah, and walking topside. So you know Johanna's not down here. So if they don't have Johanna with them, who else is going to face check into you? The answer is nobody if they're smart. And in that case, you don't need to be anchoring. And in the case that they are, and their squishies are going to face check you, you don't have your DPS there looking to follow up. If somebody does face check you, most likely they're the ones pushing. So I think you guys kind of got to make a choice. And I think pushing the building makes a lot more sense than hoping for them to be really, really dumb. Even if they are really dumb, they won't be forever. You're going to force them to learn. So now you go up to get the top soak because they had the camp pushing it in for you. They're trying to push bot. So yeah, you guys probably don't need everybody topside now. But you also don't want to have just one person alone bottom that can get like engaged on with like Gust or Bless Shield or something. Or just pulled by Alarak if he's unlucky or slept by Honor or whatever. So yeah, it is kind of risky for one person to stay bottom there. But you do want to defend this fort. Like I said, defending this fort is really important. They did get the well, unfortunately. So yeah, I think you guys should have been like expecting this more, or just reacted sooner on it. Like I see Greymane, yeah, they're on it right now. You guys don't react very fast from mid. I would maybe even have peeled off of the camp and said Thrall can solo it later. But right now we need to defend bot fort, because if they took that bot fort, which maybe they can in some universe, if they like gust you off or something, or get a pick somehow, because you guys are like staggered coming in to defend it, that they can potentially kill this here, which is a really big problem. So now you guys have your camp pushing top lane, Thrall's coming down. You have 2 turrets. You can get a 3rd turret here. They're going to get 1 turret. You have all your ults. Plan is, use all the items. Don't go this way. Go around this way. This way is safe. This way is dangerous. Maybe they act like they're going to their turret and then they loop around and they're sitting in this bush waiting for a squishy to walk through this area and kill them. Just go around this way. Safe. Take the conveyor of safety. Conveyor belts are your friends. Okay, so this is a similar concept to the top objective, where going in through these conveyors is kind of awkward. Because once you're going in, you're going in like all the way in. There's no like slowly pressing the line forward and moving them back, like 2 steps at a time. It's kind of just like an all or nothing thing, and if you choose the wrong moment where it's all or nothing, or your team isn't all on the same page, and your tank goes in and the DPS aren't there to follow up, is you can basically, you're almost like splitting yourself far apart from being able to follow up with each other. If you are going to engage, I actually think going down and just engaging through the side open area where there's like a blank spot that you can stand in this conveyor is a bit better. But I think just trying to pressure in from above and coming in through this way is a bit better. Just that people then have more space to kind of maneuver and kite back if they need to, like until they step on this downward conveyor here, basically. And the tank can also like step off the conveyor into this middle area and then walk back, and he doesn't get taken all the way on a journey and have to loop like all the way around to get back to his team and stuff like that. So going in through these conveyors is kind of awkward, and you can see that's pretty much what happens. Whereas and that's why Johanna's controlling this area. Their tank player is like pretty good at the positioning on these fights, on being set up for these fights. Their DPS, on the other hand, is not. Because if their tank is controlling this area, they should be playing either up here or over here and helping her control this area. Like, if she has nobody to deal damage when somebody walks in this area, she doesn't control the area, right? So she's kind of like bluffing that she controls this area right now, because her DPS is all way down here, and she's standing way up here. And then the Thrall is just like, I call your bluff and walk through you. And yeah, he literally takes 0 damage. This route is a little scary, I think. For one, you probably shouldn't look to root Johanna anyway, since she can just unstoppable through it. But Also, just having that on beyond cooldown for this fight, I think, is going to be a big problem. And then you're also backing off. Somebody's calling Dragon Arrow and they're hard engaging, and it was basically because you guys got split up by these conveyors. I think Diablo basically got poked off by the Greymane that was down here. Maybe that was a different game that I'm thinking of. Anyway, Dragon Arrow works out again. Yeah, so they're on this middle area and not being very mobile, and that's why you call the Dragon Arrow. This is good. This APOC timing was good. The APOCs are kind of awkward on these conveyors, but it works out. You guys get the engage kill on the Ana, sort of. Well, almost. So imagine if out of this APOC, you have a Malfurion root, for one. And then you could even have Malfurion stepped in here. You could drop a turret over here instead of over here, and then look to just take the conveyor, and then literally just once you're at like this corner, start charging up a dream and just dream like the three of these guys. And then it's also dreaming like, where is she going to run to? She's going to run through your dream and a ring. Like the ring is actually really well placed here. Because if they want to fight it, they have to walk towards you and against the conveyor, so it's very hard for them to deal with. The Alarak, this thing is kind of laggy. Alarak does get his ult off here, almost kills Jaina. This gust comes in. So you guys are kind of split. Jaina's super chunked off here. You have Thrall stuck on these conveyors in like the 5 of their enemy team. Tank's over here. Hanzo's over here, not able to output damage in this fight. So yeah, this is just kind of like you guys splitting yourself on this engage. Instead of coming through this way, you guys had Diablo take this conveyor. That was pretty much the whole start of this, I would say. And then somebody dies with a turret here. That's Jaina. Yeah, just plop your turret as you're almost dead here even. Like right as soon as you get chunked out. Here, I'm dropping turret immediately. I'm like, I'm gonna die if somebody looks at me the wrong way at any moment. I need to drop turret before I die. I would also be saying the same thing as Malfurion. I'm just dropping turret anywhere here. Probably on this area, but you could technically drop it sort of up here. That would also be good with the way that the Blizzard is right now. That was a really good Blizzard placement also. Nano boosted Greymane, interesting. Considering they have an Alarak, that would have been a much better choice for it. As Diablo right now, pick up the turret and place it. Everyone's ignoring the turret. You're trying to get it, Solskito. But Johanna gets it, unfortunately. But yeah, okay. Back to the important stuff. Ignoring the turret now. So yeah, Diablo, again, is getting split away from DPS. You basically... The Alarak got away here from... Because if I look at this situation right now... Okay, we kill Greymane. I have 2 turrets. Ideally a 3rd one. I have a root on a Falstad and an Alarak. Well, an Alarak and is here. Whatever. And I have my Diablo. I'm Hanzo here. I'm like full HP. This is like a free kill on... Well, Falstad dashes away. But Alarak has no mobility, right? I'm just going to follow this Alarak. I can just poke him down with autos and whatever else. He's not going to do anything to get away from me. But you guys are having to like walk against this conveyor, sort of. I think Hanzo maybe has used trait now. Maybe hasn't. I don't know. But I would try and trait over at this point to try and chase. Now you're still like trying to walk against the conveyors. And Alarak basically gets away there. Because of just the positioning of this fight still being super awkward. Now you're trying to walk against turrets and getting pulled down. You can't charge up Q very easily. Or aim Q very easily. Luckily Diablo has souls, so him dying wasn't the end of the world. And then yeah, this call to invade was actually pretty ballsy. They don't have anything. They actually were pretty low HP. Easy snipe kill. Easy wall stun. That wall stun was kind of bullshit, but whatever. You're clearly the better player, so you deserve this wall stun. Gifted to you by Blizzard themselves. They dropped the turret because, I mean, it's fair. That's what they should have done in that case. And then yeah, Easy win, go stand on the point, get 20, walk it in for a victory. Are you guys going to take support camp right now? I actually forgot that this happened. I didn't know that this was up. I guess this is good. It's good to just have a support item to drop on the keep or the core push. Astral Communion, 100%. I actually, well, never mind. This is fine. Now I want Hanzo and Malfurion in the mech because they're probably the squishiest, least mobile people. You definitely don't want your heal item on Diablo in the mech. I expected you guys would push top here, but you're pushing bot lane. Yeah, this is fine too. I thought the top wall might already be dead, but maybe it's not. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, no, I think this is fine. I just think the heal item, Hanzo should have picked it up when you guys were doing the support camp earlier. Because you should have planned out that Jane and Diablo were going in the mech. You have the right people in the mech, just not the item on the right people. Huge root. Absolutely disgusting. Thrall is hard carrying this game. Ridiculous Sunder. There's a good laser and root to zone them off into this area too. So good setup zoning root by Malf. And then yeah. This call was just like, root, I'm centering, I'm dreaming. Easy game. The Dragon Arrow, yeah. What are they going to do about it? Nothing. Yeah, they know it instantly too. They're just like, well, GG. So yeah, this pretty much came down to like, you guys did well in fights in terms of like target calling and stuff like that, and your abilities and target focus and like layering CC and whatever, getting like the kills and priority targets killed that you need to and stuff like that. It was pretty much most of the fights were won or lost before the fight started based on positioning of the waves and just like what zone you guys and area you guys were controlling before the fight started. And then yeah, you guys just gotta like play closer together in fights. You guys have a bad habit of getting split apart in fights where one person's on like one corner of the screen and the other people are like 50 feet away on the other corner of the screen or whatever, doing kind of different things. You guys did a lot better at macro this time. I think not having like the whole Falstead thing probably helped in that actually, and maybe playing against it also helped against Falstead, or playing as it helped against playing as Falstead, whatever. And yeah, I think you guys did a good job of putting the right people in the mech, and then like using turrets and stuff like that in fights. I don't know. I went over pretty much everything. I probably don't need to like conclude this one too much. The Infernal Shrines game, that was also a lot more like, I'm probably going to be focused a bit more on like micro stuff in fights in terms of like positioning, ability usage, stuff like that, because I think you guys got the macro pretty well down at this point. And in terms of like major stuff, there's still probably going to be like certain situations where I'll disagree with something or you guys won't know what to do, and we can talk about those when those happen, I guess, but those should be less and less common, I would say. And it depends, like, at least on these maps. Like, you guys seem pretty comfortable on Volskaya, you guys seem pretty comfortable on Infernal Shrines. I think if you're playing, like, Cursed Hollow or Alteric Pass, that you guys are going to try and learn and try and be playing more, I think, after talking with Pi about all that, that you'll probably have questions about those a bit more, so we can go over those when you guys play those games. But yeah, it's kind of like, I wouldn't say it's harder to review wins, but I don't know. I want you guys to be doing scrims more, and I don't want you guys to lose. That's absolutely not what I'm saying. But I do think, I pretty much already think you guys are probably at a point where you're going to win most of your matches in the NGS division that you're in, except against a few other high level teams. Like I think Newis is going to be a tough opponent. You guys could reasonably lose against them. That you guys should prepare well for them and not not go in thinking overconfident or whatever or underestimating them or whatever. And there's a couple people in B West that you'll probably play in playoffs that I think are also going to be decent enough that could take games off of you. But I think you guys are one of the stronger teams in B East right now, like probably top 2, top 3, I would say, um, if not the best team. And obviously you'll continue to get better. And so I think trying to play like a couple Div A teams, lower Div A teams would be good. Uh, they'll just have a different meta from you guys, and I think they'll be better at banning like Zeratul, Maev, Anubarak, and not letting you guys get away with so much in draft as well. Um, that you guys should try and challenge yourselves that way a little bit and just get used to having to adapt more and have people that aren't gonna kind of let you play the game you want. You'll have to face some contention and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm excited. You guys are doing well. Like I said, I've been impressed. You're implementing stuff really fast and improving pretty fast and taking my advice. So I appreciate that, and makes me feel like I'm doing a good job as a coach, of course. So thumbs up all around. Good job, guys. Good win. GG's.